You ever get the feeling the financial system is running on rules nobody told you about? Like there's a version of the rule book everyone else got and yours had pages missing. Let me show you what I mean. You booked flights home for Thanksgiving, $800 round trip. You put it on the card, you have the cash, you're responsible. You pay the bill in full, zero interest. You feel disciplined, financially evolved, like you deserve a LinkedIn post about adulting. Then your phone buzzes. Credit score, minus 24 points. You stare at it. Refresh. Like maybe it was a glitch. It wasn't. You open Credit Karma, scroll, check for fraud, briefly consider identity theft, and then you see high credit utilization. You paid it in full. This is the part where people start whispering, is this system rigged? Relax, it's not rigged. It's just extremely specific. You didn't mess up, you just didn't know when the photo was taken. We were trained to worship one date, the due date. Pay before the due date, avoid interest, be a good citizen. And yes, that avoids fees, but that is not the date that shapes your credit score. The credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, are not watching your account in real time. They don't see when you pay. They receive one report per month, one number, whatever your balance happens to be on one specific day. And that day is your statement closing date, not your due date, your closing date. Most people have no idea when it is because your bank doesn't need you to know it. They need you to know the due date. That's when they get paid. The closing date? That's when your reputation gets frozen. Your credit score is not a live stream. It's a screenshot, one photo per month. And guess when they take it? Not after you clean the room, before. Let's slow this down because this is the part people miss. Your billing cycle runs, say, from the 1st to the 30th. You swipe all month. Groceries, gas, that quick Amazon check that somehow became $214. You glance at your balance once or twice. You tell yourself, I'll pay it before the due date. I'm responsible. And you are. That's what makes this so frustrating. By the 29th, you're sitting at $3,000 on a $6,000 limit. That's 50%. You're calm. You have the money. On the 30th, your statement closes. And whatever number exists at that exact moment is sent to the credit bureaus automatically. No follow-up, no but wait, no context. Somewhere in a server farm, an algorithm goes, noted, cold. Now here's where people blink. Your due date is probably 3 weeks later. You could pay the full $3,000 on the 18th. Early, responsible, emotionally stable. Doesn't matter. The photo was already taken. You see money leave your checking account. You feel productive. Meanwhile, your credit report is still showing the version of you from 3 weeks ago. It's like fixing your posture after the photo was already posted. Helpful, but too late. That gap between statement close and due date is a 20-day blind zone where you think you're improving your score, but the bureau's already locked in the old data. That gap is the entire game. And nobody explains it because it doesn't help the bank for you to know it. It only helps you. Before we talk about why this hits so hard, let's get one thing straight about what a credit score actually is. Because most people treat it like a report card, like the system is grading your financial character, your discipline, your responsibility, your worth as a human being who pays bills. It's not. Your credit score is a statistical prediction. That's it. It's asking one question. How likely is this person to default on a debt in the next 24 months? It's not measuring your wealth. It's not measuring how responsible you are. It's a risk model built by lenders for lenders. The bank doesn't care if you're a good person. It cares if you're a predictable one. And once you understand that, once you stop treating your score like a grade and start treating it like a model with known inputs, everything in this video starts to make a different kind of sense. You're not trying to be more responsible. You're trying to feed the model the right numbers. There's a difference, and that difference is worth knowing. Now let's talk weight, because this is where it gets uncomfortable. Payment history, 35%. You miss a payment, you suffer. Fair. But the second biggest category? Amounts owed. 30%. That means nearly 1/3 of your entire score moves every single month based on one reported number. 1. You could build perfect payment history for 10 years, but if one statement closes at 70% utilization, 30% of your score flinches instantly. That's not small, that's structural. And I know some of you are thinking, so I've been stressing about one late payment from 2017 while 30% of my score resets every 30 days? Yes, you have. Here's how the algorithm reads utilization bands. Under 30%, you're normal. 30 to 50%, you're starting to look stretched. 50 to 80%, now you look financially stressed. Above 80%, you look like you're refreshing your banking app at 2 a.m. Pull down, release. As if the numbers are going to improve because you care deeply. They don't. The algorithm does not respond to vibes. And here's the twist most people miss. These thresholds apply per card, not just total. You could have $50,000 in total credit, but max out $1,000 card, that single account waves a red flag. The model doesn't think in intentions, it thinks in patterns. Statistically, high utilization predicts default, so the model reacts immediately. It doesn't know you're about to pay it tomorrow. It only knows what it sees. And what it sees is the snapshot. Now some of you perfectionists are thinking, fine, I'll just report 0 every month. Clean slate, perfect score. Slow down, spreadsheet warrior. If all your cards report 0 consistently, the algorithm starts to wonder if you're even using credit. And if you're not using credit, why do you have it? From the model's perspective, a borrower who uses credit responsibly is safer than someone who opened accounts and then vanished into the woods. People with 850 credit scores, they don't report 0. They average around 4 to 7%. Not because they carry debt, because they understand reporting. They're basically feeding the algorithm a tiny snack. Just enough to say, yes, I exist. Not enough to trigger survival instincts. The strategy is called AIO. All 0 except 1. You pay all but one card to 0. On that one, leave about 1%. On a $5,000 card, that's like $50. You're basically whispering to the algorithm, see, I use credit, I just don't abuse it. And no, reporting a balance does not mean paying interest. This is where people panic. Wait, if I leave $30, am I paying interest? No, interest happens after the due date, not after the statement date. You're not carrying a balance, you're staging a balance. Huge difference. One costs money, one costs calendar awareness. So how do you stop losing points for being responsible? You stop waiting for the bill. That's it. Instead of paying after the statement, you pay before it's created. 3 to 4 days before your closing date, you log in. You look at your balance, and you manually pay it down. Not to 0, we already covered that, but close. If it's $2,400, maybe you pay it down to $40. Then, the statement closes. And what gets reported? $40. That's the number the bureaus see. Not what you spent all month, not what you paid later, just what existed at closing. And then, weeks later, on the actual due date, you pay that $40. 0 interest, 0 penalty. Same spending, different timing, different result. You didn't change your behavior, you changed the photo. You moved a payment by 72 hours, and somehow that shifts your financial reputation. If that doesn't tell you how mechanical this system is, I don't know what will. And I know what you're thinking. That's it? Yes, that's it. No secret software, no credit repair company, no shady trick. Just understanding when the clock resets. And let's be clear, this isn't gaming the system. It's understanding the reporting clock. You're just finally aware of the design. If you're applying for a mortgage in the next 60 days, this isn't optional. A 30-point difference can change your rate tier. Over 30 years, that's real money. Like, maybe we renovate the kitchen money, not skip Starbucks money. And here's the part nobody mentions. Lenders don't just see your score. They see the snapshot that created it. A loan officer looking at 68% utilization and a score of 710 reads that very differently than 4% utilization and a score of 710. Same number, very different story. One of those people gets the better rate. You now know how to be that person. If you're not applying for anything major, relax. You don't need to live in Excel. Keeping utilization under 10% naturally will usually keep you above 760. Don't turn this into a personality trait. Use precision when the stakes are high. Otherwise, go outside. Step 1. Find your statement closing date. Not your due date, your closing date. Yes, it's buried in a PDF. Yes, nobody reads those. Yes, this is the one time you should. Consider it your redemption arc for every accept terms click you've ever done. Step 2. Set a reminder 3 to 4 days before it. Your future self will thank you. Your current self will ignore it twice. That's normal. Step 3. On reminder day, manually pay down to about 1%. This is where autopay betrays you. Autopay is loyal, but autopay is dumb. Its only job is don't be late. It does not care about optimization. It's like cruise control. Great for highways, terrible for racing. Step 4. Let the statement close. Verify the tiny balance. If it says $27.13, perfect. You look responsible. Step 5. Pay the remainder before the due date. And please, don't get so clever optimizing utilization that you forget the actual due date, because a late payment will haunt you longer than your last situationship. 7 years. The algorithm does not forgive that one. Now let's talk about the way people accidentally get themselves investigated. Credit cycling. If your limit is $3,000 and you run $9,000 through it in 1 month by repeatedly paying it off mid-cycle, you think you're efficient. The bank thinks you're interesting. Risk departments don't operate on vibes. They operate on patterns. And if your pattern starts looking like high volume, rapid turnover, heavy utilization, you might get a very calm email that is not calm at all. They don't send a polite email. They freeze things. If you're constantly hitting your limit mid-month, you don't need timing hacks. You need a higher credit limit. Call them. Say you spend heavily and pay in full. That sentence makes banks smile. Higher limit equals easier low utilization. Much less drama. Now, before you think you've cracked the code permanently, this works because most lenders still use FICO 8. FICO 8 is a snapshot model, 1 number per month, no memory. It's basically a goldfish with a spreadsheet. But newer models, like FICO 10T, use trended data. They look at 24 months of balance history. It's the difference between a photo and a documentary, and documentaries reveal patterns. So if you're living at 75% utilization all month, cleaning it up 3 days before closing, every single month for 2 years, FICO 10T sees the whole movie, not just the last frame. And the movie is not flattering. FICO 8 judges you on your highlight reel. FICO 10T watches the director's cut. Adoption is still slow. Most lenders haven't switched yet, but the direction is obvious. So use the timing strategy. It works now and it works well. But build the habit. That way you win under any model. And that story is boring. Boring is good. Boring gets approved. One more silent mistake. Closing old credit cards. Feels responsible. Feels minimal. Feels like financial decluttering. Here's what actually happens. You close a $10,000 card with zero balance. Your debt stays the same, but your available credit drops by $10,000. Your denominator shrinks. Your utilization rises instantly. You deleted free oxygen from your profile. Old cards are infrastructure. They sit quietly in the background, making you look less risky. Finance loves infrastructure. Minimalism is for your closet, not your credit file. If you're scared of inactivity, put one small subscription on it. Autopay it. Let it live. That limit is working for you even when you forget it exists. Which is exactly how infrastructure should behave. You were never bad with credit. You just didn't know when the photo was taken. Now you know the clock. Try it for 1 cycle, and when your score moves, come back and tell me how many points. You can like the video, or don't. I'm not begging. But if you watched 20 minutes of this and don't click anything, the algorithm might think I'm inactive. And we've already discussed how that goes. Subscribe to Breaking Money if you want more breakdowns of how money systems actually work. Or don't. But if your score drops next month and you ignored this, I will assume you enjoy chaos. This is Breaking Money. See you in the next one.